giving me the eye, and it feels worse when no one looks at all. Like when I was 14 and still getting high. I wait a lot more, and it's coming back around again. A never-ending haul where I relive every single night because I can't let things lie. And we were drinking every day in the summer before and after you left, when you looked into all of their eyes and told them that I lied, like my mother tried, before she lost in court and still had the nerve to look me in the eye. But it used to be the cough medicine that I stole from the Dollar Tree, or the cuts on my legs from climbing through holes in fences to get to you, so it wasn't that bad. And people are nicer to you when your hair is bleached than when it's blue, and they're still giving me the eye. So I tell myself it's because I'm beautiful, even though they're staring with no glit in their eye. Staring like how they look at their reflections when they pass the glass walls lining the City Hall subway station. The steps too wide for me to climb. Coffee shop across the street where I met you at 1 when you were eating a hard scone and I was lying to you. But the only scones I've ever liked were soft and blueberry frosted from a coffee shop that I haven't gone to since they saw my missing poster and gave me the eye. And I pass an old friend who's on a date, and I pass the security guards who aren't supposed to allow public drinking, and everyone is giving me the eye. And I want to be 16 again on a rooftop in Germantown before I knew that I wouldn't think of it forever, a special kind of suffering to think that I would. Now that it's over, I go up and down Broad Street and I'm still getting the eye, like when I tell another man that I'm only 15 and he tells me that he just wants to be my friend, or when they watch my stories online after they think that they were the ones using me. And couples pass me and look from the corners of their eyes, and a bus drives by that I won't take anymore because it takes me to a place that I won't go anymore. Following me in the summer heat, like when he stopped wanting me and started hurting me, a look in his eye that told me the summer was over again. And I got a different kind of eye when I was 8, when my mother called an ambulance on me for crying and saying that I wanted her to die. And I think about what it would be like to tell another person about my life, that after 2 times of nobody listening to what happened on the bus, what happened at the Walnut Locust subway station or the Dollar Tree when I was 14, I don't think I could get the words out if I tried, because all they do is give me the eye. And I would look into your eyes and tell you with confidence that you won't be getting off that easy after everything that you did, but I haven't been able to listen to that song in a long time, and I don't like to talk about you, when all anyone ever does is give me the eye.
She's the #1 Erie Canal fan of all time. It's Jules.
I'm from the Delta, Desert, Carpathians, tobacco sellers, diplomats, bartenders, butchers, beggars. The Vistula, Nile, and Ewek purify like a mikvah, sift clay from their banks to patch fissures in huts, dars, mansions that no longer exist. I am from the priests of the Beit HaMikdash and their servants and teachers, and all of their despair as they watch their home burn. I wash their hands and keep the faith. Black lime, salt, cumin, boiled and bleached cherries. I am the battle-back Saklet man who wanders the city of limestone, citadels that spill onto streets and unwind into an incessant prayer. I dream about the plague of darkness made true by a glut of planes eclipsing the sun, clinging myself against offshoots of pine, pulled down with the branch and used for kindling. I am fertilizer, smoke, ever-burning yard-side candle, swallow. I still don't understand, but all questions are sacred, so I sit and learn from them. Retwist holy books, bind them against my forearms and between eyes. I keep the faith.
Expensive things don't mean a thing. All she cares about is love. We're just getting some chairs set up. Hold on. Thank you.
Dizzy. I move as if my head is separate from my body. Step, step, step forward, and then I stumble back. Disorient. This direction becomes nothing more than a mere myth. Time and use of concepts, names and faces lost. Losing, but not painful, no. Fun. Everything spins, but I am not sick. Exciting. Bodies push towards one another, everyone entertaining themselves and pleasuring each other. Fainting. Colors and shapes blur, my hearing grows muffled, and the world disappears. Resurrecting. Everything comes back, brought about by morning. Brought about by morning, and a dull throb in my head.
remembers before I do. The walls recall voices that no longer talk to me, the echo of footsteps that no longer come. A chair remains still holding the warmth of yesterday, a faint echo of presence folded into its fabric. The cushion remembers, not the body but the voice, the gravity it once carried. The clock continues not in service of time, not for anyone but because it always has, not by choice, but out of the habit of existence. The way the universe keeps breathing even when no one is listening. Outside, the garden breathes quietly, green insisting itself through the hush, through the places where laughter once lived. Each leaf a question, all grass the tongue of roots beneath, licking at a soul's bottom. Evening gathers at the window, the air inside motionless, as if the house itself waits, knowing someone has left and something remains, no door closed, no farewell spoken, only the quiet confession of stillness. The house exhaling, finally aware that to hold is to also release. A kettle size with small philosophy of steam, 2 cups wait, unfilled but not empty, companions in the ceremony of absence. A shadow drifts down the hallway, choosing a corner where light surrenders to itself. Books lie open, but language has grown shy. Their words listen now instead of speaking. Ivy climbs without hurry, rewriting the window with the script of return. Back outside, the wind searches for a name it once carried. It bends, forgets, forgives. Night, merciful, erases the face but not its warmth. The draft holds what the house cannot keep. A remnant of breath, a thread of laughter unspooled into light. Something still listening, somewhere beyond reach.
She was born on May 16th.
He's 10 days older, and he thinks it's a big deal. The 240 hours between us is our only inside joke. In 4th grade, he wanted to be an inventor and asked for a few extra screws, nuts, and bolts. So my brother and I mutilated an alarm clock for him. Only once, as I dissected those delicate circuit boards, I wondered if he would know what to do with the green and silver entrails torn from their purpose. He performed magic tricks. The magic was the fact that I closed my eyes as he hid the scarf or coin. He's like a cult leader, his mom used to joke. Motivated only by a single starburst and his approval, my brother and I held our very first plank position for nearly 2 minutes. Since then, we've all matured. I no longer think that he can pulverize a diamond with his bare hands, and he accepts that he is not faster than Usain Bolt. Still, there are traces of that confidence. Every year, he reminds me, 10 days is a long time. The Vampire Queen, Juliana.
How to tell a fairy is nearby. There will be a soft chime of bells. Then the sweet grass of plums are the first signs of magic. Then the mist would appear glittery and frothy as clouds, and along the ley line of trees you will hear a hum of song. The key is understanding that before fairies can walk, they learn to dance. And before fairies can speak, they learn to sing. So tiptoe as you pass, as to not disrupt their harmony. Their riddle-like mischief may pester, but their wings of trickery only stretch on cool summer nights. You may like them better in the winter, where they are calm and serene as falling snowflakes. If you encounter these fairies, do not capture them. For their whimsy is for none but their colonies. Do not drain the poor pixie, for all they wish to do is flutter and enchant.
She's bewitched us, body and soul, Natalie Spina.
The taste of possibility. My great-great-grandmother made meals out of a single potato in a small house far from the areas meant for tourists to roam. To feed children that did not come from her womb, but fell in her lap to raise. Surrounded by the palm trees, now seen as an indicator of lush serenity, she searched for ways to make the sustenance last, to stretch out a singular starch. And my great-grandmother was hard, a woman never described as sweet, who relied on her strength to raise children in Puerto Rico, an island seen as an attraction rather than a provider in need. My mother adored her, saw a woman who radiated compassion in wordless encounters rather than a harsh matriarch, because she craved consistent strength. She'd arrive with her blue suitcase, filled with trinkets her grandchildren couldn't afford. Her visits brought more presents than Santa gave, and she'd clean the hoarded house silently, as her daughter's mind was clouded by memories never repeated. And my grandmother couldn't succeed the women 2 generations before her, working as hard as she could in a country filled with fruitless desires. The American dream impossible in a territory held captive by red, white, and blue. Still, anything must be done to feed 9 mouths on her own without their father's presence. My mother became the provider of siblings she didn't birth, all of them sharing a singular room and huddling close in the winter. She cooked meals that would fill growing stomachs rather than taste good on their buds, 10 portions of arroz con gandules and corned beef before she could finally go to sleep. And she sat in the timeout chair every morning, late to school and teachers not caring that she walked children to school daily. And I faced all the wrath she couldn't place on anyone else, the anger she held onto for every circumstance that she never held in her control. But I was blessed by her strong will, which she used to ensure her childhood struggles would never be my own. A home always clean, fridge always holding a fulfilling meal to eat, presents bursting under the Christmas tree, and the possibility of the education she relinquished to give everything to me. And I think of the island I've never had the chance to see, closing the distance between the separation of Puerto Rico and me. The cycle that passed down from mouth to mouth, stomach to stomach, has the chance to end with me. So I gather the strength each woman has passed like liquid in my palms and sip the smooth taste of possibility. For I have the chance to fulfill the dreams of my great-great-grandmother who hoped to provide more than a potato to eat.
Often mispronounced, it's Marlene.
Hold on, 1 second. Come on, grab some seats over here. Is there a seat next to anyone over there? Thank you. If you can find a seat, yeah, that would be Could you give her instructions, please?
All right. Often mispronounced, it's Marlene.
My mother bought a cake. It was my father's gift. I was meant to light the candles, sing the song, and go along with what she had in mind. How do I tell her? The bond we had wasn't real. I set up the cake, I lit the candles, I watched the clock. I waited. 4 minutes passed. I remember the way he argued with my mom. He was headed to the door. I held on because I wanted attention from him. It's what I needed at the age of 4. 9 minutes passed. I remember learning to flip tortillas. He lived with certain ideals. I wanted to impress him. Validation from him. It's what I needed at the age of 9. 14 minutes passed. I remember him telling me I ruined his day. He sat in his chair and scolded me for a mistake I made. I knew what I did was wrong. Comfort from him. It's what I needed at the age of 14. 16 minutes passed. I remember him calling me a child for my thoughts. He stood in the kitchen and asked me for my mom and her life. I tried to hold in my tears. Compassion from him. It's what I needed at the age of 16. I looked at the door, at the clock on the stove. I blew out the candles. He wasn't here, nor was it ready to show.
It grazes the corners of ecstasy, trying to fit each artificial groove, while the shadows of my past consume what little memory there is left, cornering me into the crevices of doubt. The shot echoes through paradise, dazzling the tongues that lie. It finds a home in the deepest cavities of my heart, because it yearns for my good graces. Every clip of the truth never goes unnoticed. As it reveals the nature of my foe, it pierces my body in ways unmendable, creating a masterpiece sculpted by callous hands that never seem to rest. Hands that set off the cold metal, that replays in my mind, a reminder of the visceral loathing that reflects the suffering of our deception and sincerity. So when it is forced to take a final breath, the truth cowers and disguises itself amongst faces unrecognizable and in eyes that still linger on me.
Spiritually, Connecticut is the smallest state, and from here we have a list.
Self-portrait as moving truck. The inclined plane, simplest, perhaps, of 6. Clang down your gangway, unfurl the belly to me. Brace! Ribs of cardboard are on the plush lung of couch cushion. Nestle in for the ride. Oh, great sapphic chariot, empty your womb into the street, to the alleyway awaiting impatiently. Gasp, futile, through a gillis stomach. Wheeze your cargo to the pavement. Gentle beast, the travel does not end. Ferry a deathbed one day, bassinet the next. Exhaust and sweat on your tongue, tinted by pine tree breath. Whose life do you swallow tomorrow? Brute, you would rend me from my childhood walls, from your mom, my mattress, disposed sliver of home. Floor fills with cardboard, containers of lives, picked of fat, plastic wrapped, stacked. Treasures to crack, bounty to share within these brick walls. Outside, puttering one, you wait. Tomorrow, the sky, new to sleepless eyes, will spill over with lambent day glow, and on you drive.
Totally not a bat in the sky, then.
There, wrapped in my body, there's no better moment. And from a shadow that lingers, fear emerges. And though your fingertips tread on my skin, the reflection is suddenly mirrored in your eye. And though the rules are set, you might deny, because when you're in love, what else can you expect? And through growing up, all I did was hope that someone would kiss me like a princess, fix me in the moment. When someone dreamed of getting close, I would deny. And through my locked wounds, anticipation came emerging. I still can't look you in the eye. As my body picks a pose, it hides from the light. I know I am not eternal, and you don't know what to expect. And even if I could see me through you, I just wouldn't have enough time. And even with tension emerging, eventually our vessel shakes. There's nothing more we can try. All our truths shall come to light, keeping secrets hidden in doubt, illustrative portrayal of elusive touch. Your shoulders shrug in the moment, and to push you further, I glare you down. You savored me gently in the moment, and though it's flicked off, now I know what to expect. A braver soul, your words emerge. So, are we merged or rapidly emerging? Why is something good and something whole something you deny? How can I show you, help you see the light? Please excuse me for a moment. We all thought Ebron would be outdated Gotham, but here he is, Lundy.
The Yuletide star. It wasn't even December yet. My energy depleted from the crazy car ride home. Coming back from your Saturday performance at the diner where I joyously sang along. Still, on your warm-toned couch that you always fell asleep on, and under the hug of multicolored lights and nativity sets, we wrote your song. You asked me which lyric I liked better, if you should tweak this or elongate that. As expected, chipper even with heavy eyelids, I gave you a child's perspective. Lucy, you said, a nickname I no longer align with, but with your affectionate tone, the memory rests softly like snow too pretty to be shoveled away. A sleigh with reindeer may be parked nearby, you hummed, testing the flow as I dozed off. You had just printed out the official lyrics and sheet music the following day, both our names underlined as the artist. When you passed, nostalgia became a cursed snow globe, shaking its blizzard to entrap the festive souvenirs I wish I could reminisce on. I could no longer see the notes from Santa you wrote me, asking what I wanted, or explaining that Schnitzel, the clumsy reindeer, had damaged the wrapping paper on my Playmobil set. I resented the holiday. Even a green Christmas felt icy. Though, is this what you would have wanted? The grandchild you raised to embed themselves in sorrow, nestled under a balsam tree of grief? Bing Crosby's voice seemed lonely now. But under guilt, I listened to his narration of the small one in Candlelight, a tale of the weak donkey who carried Mary to Bethlehem. Over years of mourning, the stabbing blue of the winter season faded into soft cheer. I knew I would never encapsulate the essence of how you perfected wonder. I was not dedicated enough. Where you were evergreen in your affinity for Noel, I was a snowman, bound to melt once spring came. Still, I befriended merry people and kept the twinkle from your eye tucked into my heart. The real Santa may not have had a white beard or went down chimneys, but he did laugh, and he brought joy to anyone he could all year round. He no longer watched to see if I was naughty or nice, just that I hung an ornament for him, and that I still remember our song. I hum it near my windowsill, looking up at the frosty sky, just to see you, Papa, the Yuletide star.
The writer who wears the most jewelry, Maya.
The sun squeezes its way through the pinholes in my curtains, casting beams of light onto the carpeted floor. My AC rattles, pushing cold air into my room, masking the sound of early morning traffic. I'm a shivering pile of boogers and bones beneath heavyweight blankets. Blindly, my hand searches for the smooth surface of my phone. Silencing the ringer before my alarm has a chance to demand my attention. I turn off the AC and migrate to the bathroom, unsuccessfully washing the drowsiness off my face. My breathing whistles as I inhale and exhale. I can hear my mom washing dishes in the kitchen as I walk back to my room. Moss-colored mucus rebuilds a home in my nose as I make a mental note to find tissues later. Checking my phone for notifications and deadlines, I find myself realizing the date. My cat scratches beneath my door, a destructive plea to be let in before the dogs get her. Slipping on my pajama shirt, I open the door. Running in, she hops into my bed. We both fall back to sleep.
Our next performer is Astaria Nihilus. Oh, wait, that's me. I love Injera raps and getting chased by psycho tots with party snaps, and I love the gongs and bells for bills at dusk. The boba chai and the fresh honeydew, the red-tailed hawks dropping squirrels on you, and the faux left sidewalk chalk to Elon Musk. This is where my brother got hit by a car. We call it west, but it's not that far from the geographic center, so really they're just east. Hippie movement never died if you use Reiki in place of Wiser Jide, and while I'm not like them, I couldn't care the least. Because I love Injera raps and farmers market fights with Amish chaps, and I'll pick up swords till my intervertebrals bust. I think I might die in a Mill Creek hole or fight off bears with sparks and coals. Now let's get abducted waiting for the bus. They say this is the place to be weird, while real oddity makes them turn their beards, while they're pink-colored bowls with my cargo-cladded legs. A latte costs $8 at least, yet they call suburbanites selfish beasts. So what's with the red-eyed chick who needs to beg? She'd probably love an Injera wrap, but when she asks for cash, I tell her that some Snyder sticks are all I have to share. I'm no better than the performatives who say we kill with where we live, but it's the Wild West, so let's pretend we care. Woo!
for a grade. Kayla.
I am from an illusion, from the perspective of South Philly, born into a red brick apartment cosplaying as a stable and happy home. I am from shifting times, carpets turned to hardwood, a green door painted blue, the walls of a room spatting pink and purple, drenching itself in white, colors and personality changing from the appearance on a wall to a person who loves to their fullest only on the inside. I am from the company of late night cartoons, from the taste of McDonald's and Chick-fil-A on a small coffee table. The quick dinners treated to my brother and me from a single mother that does more than what's expected, but none of what's seen. I'm from the smell of cigarettes seeping through wooden floors, from blaring music, screaming dogs, and the barks of children's laughter, occasional screams of joy rather than terror, because that was all that was contained in the fence of our community backyard. I'm from the visual comfort of my shaking home, from popping fireworks and their sparks of light that outperform the parking lot lamppost outside. Not lit by those who had a fear of fire, but those who reveled in it. People of all ages on the block listening and watching from windows that contained celebration that was ours and ours alone. I am from Don't Go There, from the Let Your Brother Walk You, turn on your location and you don't know them. From strangers turn friends, turn expectations of my block. Each and all are all treasures of Washington and 5th Street. I am from the complaints of a child who wanted permanency. A place that we owned, a backyard all mine, and maybe a pet if I was lucky. At a home with a policy, need for regulation, and accommodations for those who live below. And yet I remain, for the last time out of 18, kept comfortable in a place that remains all the same. The small apartment on 5th and Washington is where I'm from, and when the time comes, I'll move with the hope for it to all be new, but also never change.
Up next is Marcellus, and the only reason you know he's a writer is because he managed to combine his glasses with a pencil.
Ask me if I can play music, and I'll say no. I have no symphonies. I'm a pilot who knows a few songs. I don't like shooting from my plane's guns. I prefer softer sounds. It gets to me sometimes, the lack of motivation for my superiors to continue fighting. So I keep a trumpet stuffed in my bag for something better to listen to. A German sniper was hiding in no man's land. The savage killed 28 of our men. We need to stop him. This long in the war, I had no plan other than suicide. My commanders told me it was stupid to play my trumpet. I looked silly walking into the battlefield without color. This could be my 9th symphony. It was silent, like the moment before death. Just before the sniper squeezed the trigger of his gun, I played my trumpet. If I were him, I'd want someone to play for me. We sat in darkness. I couldn't see him, but I knew he could hear me. I was satisfied, knowing that if I died, I wouldn't be killing anyone. In that field, I sang for an audience. He looked at me through his scope, being illuminated by the moonlight. Throughout the night, I soothed the beast inside all of us. When the morning sun rose, the military police alerted me that a German had surrendered. The German soldier was down by the shore, started, and asked who was playing that trumpet. I don't speak German, but I understood this kid. There was no trick to my stun. That night, I spoke in words, in a language we both knew.
You know her, you love her, and she loves Starbucks and Lindsay Lohan. It's Sanai.
Quarantine led to one of the biggest realizations I've ever had about myself. During middle school, my dad and I fought often. Sometimes I picked a fight for a reason I could not fathom. Other times, he was just aggravated by my reluctance to communicate my feelings. I wanted to be understood, but how could I be understood if my tears blocked my voice? I could rarely put my emotions into words, and when I did, I would always turn it into a screaming match. Not because I wanted to, but for survival. I couldn't explain my feelings, nor could I explain the need to be in the company of others and completely alone simultaneously. My feelings were bigger than my body. It wasn't easy for me to express myself without getting inexplicably angry. If I were to speak, I'd be martyred, not by my dad's confusion or anger towards me, but by my own tongue, which betrayed me. I couldn't pinpoint when I stopped being a sweet little girl or when I fully lost the ability
to properly express my emotions. All I could recall was waking up one morning with a poison mind. My biting teeth had a mind of their own. It wasn't until 7th grade that I started learning more about myself and how my past really affected me. Even then, it wasn't nearly enough. My brain was a distant stranger from my body. They never made me lose a scene. It was like two broken down machines attempting to mimic one another. I didn't realize how emotional of a person I was until I was locked in a room with myself, and no Fesapakudon or extroverted person to hide behind. This was one of the many eye-openers I experienced in authority. I finally understood my father's confusing stuff.
The poet made especially sweet for you.
It's why.
The falling of leaves marks the end of summer. The glistening sun retiring early for the evening. The SEPTA tracks filled with snack food remnants to Chinatown. Train cars are now filled with drowsy students. The falling of leaves marks the end of summer. The vowel between summer and fall is a twist of sugar and spice. On the corner of the street, parallel to the park, lies a house. The smell of tart-like family solidarity wafting through the cracked screen door. If you look through the window, you'll see a girl preparing a dish. The counter is scattered in flour like scattered glee. On the counter, there lays a recipe of love. The recipe states, graham cracker crust. The crust is the most important part, the foundation for which a little black girl shall mold around. The graham crackers are stacked unceremoniously on top of each other. The crunching of crumbs is reminiscent of the snapping of branches. Summer spent in the wooded part of the park eating a s'more for the first time. Like a sprinkle of sugar, a sprinkle of tradition passed down to the next, from her mother to her brother, and now to her. The sun is setting as the fire roars, spotlighting intertwined pinkies, and the promise to do it all again. The lemon cheesecake. The filling is made separately. A mix of creams and the tangy zest of a lemon combine to make a smooth base. Smooth like the hair her mother fixes as she gets her ready for school. She's always there for every first day, the only time she'll ever take a day off. Her words are light and airy like the cream cheese and feisty like the freshly squeezed lemon as she gets her in the car, streets filled with school uniforms once again. And lastly, the raspberry sauce. The raspberry filling brings a promise for some, a beginning for others, and a commitment to some. The sauce is a plum red, the same shade as her lipstick. She gets dolled up. She does so rarely. And as she does, she lines her lips, the same lips she gave to her baby. The same lips that kissed the little brown girl goodnight. The cake marks the end of summer for them both. And as the timer beeps, the reminiscing is over. Grabbing mitts to pull out the freshly baked cheesecake, maybe the love for the woman who loves her most. A declared dedication to go through everything for another school year. The cake marks the end of summer for them both.
Right away. I love you. The Luciano has landed. Ode to the Toads. I toil forever, restless on the final night of summer, thinking wistfully and with tender concern of the small frogs left in the grass skirts neighboring the campground pool in New Jersey. With autumn dawning, their ramshackle choir will recede back into the dank maw of earth, swallowing their nocturnal falsettos until their season breathes anew. They will shimmer with the dew for one last night, facing their eyes upwards into the warm umbra, making a grassy andromeda of tiny inkwells and chandelier droplets for the pitch thunderdome of the sky. During their performance, when our planet makes the same twinkling face back at Mother Space, I will be home in the city streets, wishing the frogs adieu from my tail end of the Navy moonlight, whispering congratulations and condolences alike onto the ribbon shining through the bedroom window. I tell the band I'll be back to collect them like pearly beach stones again once I embody something younger, when memory rears and prevails. But alas, the folks and I wore for a bit longer, the long back roads growing a bit colder, and I trust you have swiftly packed your slick-bellied instruments. And so I am instead hoping to see you all by next year's bookend concerto. For now, trust that I hear the crescendo in every fiber of me, and that I know it's you
with thick-throated little fellows making this all the harder, as in the nature of the doll-eyed tenor. Bravo and good night.
Who may or may not have just went, jot down every one of White's ideas. It is Avery.
Avery.
Parasite. A parasite dwells within my skull. It wriggles through the wrinkles of my mind and burns away what's left of my sanity. Long before I was born, it found its way into my father's bloodstream, and it bounced from host to host until it met me, potentially its last. I've kept it chained to my subconscious, as I've seen what it can do and what it's done to those before me. Even my mother's father fell victim, as did his mother and only son, though only she was lucky enough to outlive it. I fear it. I loathe it. It has found many ways to disturb my body. It will hide from me my hunger and thirst, sending my muscles into summertime shivers, but it often dwells in my mind, using its terrible teeth to scrape and claw. It speaks with a voice much like mine, riddled with ill intent and generational malice, devouring the flame that once fueled me into action. It appears as a dog with a human face, quick to rage, feral and rabid, hungry for flesh that isn't my own. I observe it cautiously, nervously, with a mild curiosity. I can see it for more than it is, for more than my predecessors could imagine. I can see its potential. I can see that it too was alive, only yearning for freedom, for justice and retribution from a world with none. And maybe if I were stronger, I would allow it, loosen its collar and allow it a life worth living.
936 by Sakaya Johnson.
I heavily disliked my first period class. Before I walk in, I still a breath of perseverance, holding it as a bubble in my throat, hoping it lasts me the whole hour. Keeping my eyes focused as I walk in, looking for my familiar face. I see her perseverance is already gone. I sit in a seat that hates me. It keeps telling me to leave. I shake my leg to shush it up, and I think the table is against me. It keeps telling me to put my head down. I slump my face in my palm to drown it out. But by the time I've already agreed with the chair twice and ended up in an intense but close battle with the table, it feels like no time has passed. I turn to my familiar face. My eyes feel like the clasp of a clock tip. What time is it? I ask her. 9:24, she says, with a silent look. I look down and I see I have spilled all my perseverance on the floor. I essentially forfeit my fight with the chair.
The infamous Sophia.
Brake check, wailing, backseat baby, in night season, in waxing gibbous, intemperate cyclic climate sickness. I am game. The body seizes, snared and drooling, whale-eyed, bucking, ashamed to be dying, all night writhing in withered once wild tapestry, still at sunrise, in bloom with tissue paper frost, like lace, like spun sugar, catching light and throwing color through prism of glass breastbone, inert sinew, bloodless ceramic, limp, dumb, clipped, bleached to hang in pale day, losing odors when light licks steam from the skin. Stellar tetherball, still swinging, hands, instruments of play, surgery, batter and bruiser, to grip the club, to gulp, in giddy, greedy throatfuls, plum meat, splayed, lurid, posed, pitted, makeup painted against the pugilist who bludgeon strikes upon the belly, swollen round and like a rock, to split the stiffened porcelain hide, spilling black from cold cadaver, fat, rendered from dull meat, and like candy.
The world-ending cataclysm
suppose now is the time I give a speech. I, personally, was never good at these. Here we go. Fate. Fate is stupid. Over the many years of working, biomechanics and biology, I have noticed two constants. The first one is that we do have fate. The fate to fail. That only exists with the choices that we make. The choice to do nothing. The second one is simple. That no matter where you go or what's happening, there's always a place for you to be at. A bar, a diner, a movie theater. I also know this, I might be too drunk to do a speech. After that speech, I went on a trip. It was to see my parents. I was going down the road and I noticed something. A bar and a motel sitting next to each other. I parked and went in. Why did I? The sign wasn't on it. It feels rather stupid now. I guess I just wanted to drink before I actually saw them again. I didn't get that drink, and there was no one in that bar. There were two arcade machines that seemed to play themselves. I sat in that bar for a while, watching the TV behind the counter, until it hit 6 a.m. The windows showed me the impossible. Where once was my car and the highway, there is now the inky abyss of a tunnel of stars. Yeah, I ran to the parking lot, the world I knew was gone, and this awful whirring noise plays as the car moves. How can it be? This is impossible. I think I realized at the moment, I guessed right. This is the place. A bar that moves is a bar for everyone, everywhere. A place for rest. I knew this even before we touched down on the planet. A beach, though I knew it wasn't one of Earth's. At this point, it has been about 6 hours since the bar left first. It's night here as well. I think that was the point where I gave up and I went behind the bar counter. I did some busy work, stuff I haven't done since my early college days. And the game show on the TV changed.
Next up is our contestant, David Hushburn.
Before I have time to process the duplicate of myself on the TV, the door opens.
Hey, could I get a drink?
And that was my beginning. It was fate. The fax machine.
Esme.
What if it didn't happen? Would I have gotten home, or would I have gotten into something worse? Would he have hit someone else, or would he have hit no one at all? What if there was more traffic, or what if there was less? What if I stopped at the gas station? What if I turned somewhere else? What if I didn't fall asleep? Would I have made it earlier? Or what if I slept longer? Would I have made it later? What if it wasn't picture day? What if I wasn't wearing my pretty pink dress and had my lucky scorpion necklace on? What if I didn't cheat on my hairstylist? What if I had the right to turn? What if I waited? What if I swerved? What if... So what if it did happen? If I was any slower, would my car have been okay? Would Kathy have been okay? What if the woman didn't open my door and pulled me into her arms? What if Kathy wasn't as strong as she is? Would I have been okay? What if my parents didn't come fast enough? What if Isaac didn't know? Would I have stayed? Or let my makeup stream down my face? What if the police showed up? What if he told the truth? Or if there was cameras around? Would it have still been my fault? What if it was my fault? What if I was in his way? What if I was at the wrong place?
What if I shouldn't have been driving at all? What if I didn't crash? Would I have a hard time getting out of bed, getting into the shower or out of it? Would I still feel as useless, or would I help around the house more? Would I be on top of my work and participate more in class? Would I feel paranoid getting into a car, whether I'm driving or not? Would I still be excited for my future when I don't know what else it could bring? Would I want to do what I love? Would I still be me? Would I be laying in bed, sitting with my thoughts, not knowing if I'm thinking too much or too little, feeling alone?
Go birds!
In a long trench scooped into the earth, bed of coarse gravel swallowed train tracks. Ribs, a wooden ladder, rung and eroding rung laying on the dirt. Each one is impressed just so in our sideways climb. The face of the sun floated up the horizon, but cannot see us. Behind the 10-foot cliff sides, autumn growing inward. Vines and bushes with reddening fingertips, thick dark leaves haloed in yellow. Broad enough to raise as a shelter, too tall to pluck, too interior to notice. The elderberry sprouting, a cornucopia taper, green to lilac, indigo, obsidian. Between the tracks, dissolving to skeleton, seen only for a moment as it falls past the window, a white-tailed deer, a hound, a fox. We've forgotten, the ground's forgotten, what animal it used to be. It's a metal box, a rattle across the rungs. The box disappears by the windows. It's as though we're standing among them, a glass amnesia to our setting. Leaves as arrowheads, gloves, spades, monsters' claws. Where they recede, there are the flowers of man. Shoes worn but empty, scattered where we cannot live, and thrown where we cannot tread. Their owners are not, the dismembered mannequins, legs near living if unnoticed, bent in the puddles and candy-colored heaps, but heads with paint faces and half noses mounted on branches, like war's losers turned to victor's trophies, near dead, if real at all. The shoes owners have depoted too. The acrylic paint, ponchos over cardboard on the soddening ground, mattresses growing roots into the earth beneath them, years stacked on years. We could count each layer. Plastic trinkets swallowed in and beside plastic bags like mirrors. Cotton shirts bled into by the mud and grease of the soil. One model toilet, for some reason. Then, on an empty track, beside the leaves and piles of discard, finally seen by the sun's dawn light, a dog, alive, climbing the ladder backwards.
The holliest.
And the jolliest.
Juliana and Levy.
We have never collaborated. My writing tastes like metal, the molding of steel.
Stars, the mix of wonder.
Differences in syntax, yet we possess similarities in humor,
Taste,
speech.
poise.
Because we are the...
We couldn't be.
We can be seen as annoying,
Bothersome.
crude,
Funny,
because we're brilliant,
despite us using this form of poetry.
which is used to speak on social and political issues.
To talk about us!
Speaking of which, we should probably be profound and also listen to critiques.
Given to us by our talented peers.
Yeah, we're good enough on our own. Our usual writing has depth, but together,
Well, you can see.
but that's just our creativity, the mixture of our similarities with the clash of our writing.
Why are we doing this again?
To show the world that,
The 20 to 30 people that are here.
at least, that we're brilliant. We already did our graded performance.
So really,
We're doing this for you.
And your conversation on the car ride home.
And to add to your conversation, we should preface as we wrote every line.
We laughed harder than the people listening because we are brilliant.
Hold on now. Are we funny?
Of course we are.
Humor is subjective, and we deserve our own subject. Like the time we snorted fun dip off the stairs.
But they were dirty.
And still no one left.
Everyone else was drunk.
And we were sober. What about that time we started this poem with poise
And tasteful
writing, and now, well, I heard a laugh between our hubris, the guy in the back, right?
Right.
We're the worst!